not even knowing if or how you've even made mistakes and not reviewing your performance in detail.
Yep. This is gold to finish on because we bang on and our motto is plan, prepare, perform. And that's what we've instilled that into our athletes. You've got to plan what you're going to do. You've got to go out and do it in your preparation, and then you've got to do it execution on race day. But there's one extra point that we never talk about that much. It's the review. And the review will stop you from doing what we've talked about in these 10 deadly sins next time. So if you don't review, you will make the same mistake repeatedly. And I think that's the difference between athletes who learn from event to event and those who continue to repeat the same result over and over again. They may have trained harder next time. They may have planned better. They may have executed better, but they actually didn't review the mistakes they made last time so that they can execute so much better. And it often be they do one of the three wrong. They got the planning wrong, they got the preparation wrong, or they got the execution wrong, the performance. And it's generally the execution. They might fix their planning and preparation up to so much better than they did before, but they still execute poorly. And that's probably what the 10 deadly sins are really about is that. But the final chapter before you close that race book for that event is to actually go and find out what you did well and what you did poorly. And reviewing is the key. So what did I do in the headwind? What did I do in the tailwind? Did I evenly ride? Because, most courses have got out and back twice. Did I ride the first half the same as the second half? Did I ride the first headwind the same as the second headwind? Is my tailwind slower than my headwind? All these things you need to go and review. Did I start the run at 5:30 pace when my pace was 6 minute K pace and then ran 5:50 for 6 minutes, 6:20, 6:30. Is that what I saw again? And if you don't look at the review, you don't know the answer to any of those questions. And that is a mistake for the next event. And I can't highlight this enough. It is so easy to go back and review. It's easy if you've done well to bask in the glory of look how well I did. Look at these numbers. They're fantastic. I'm so proud of myself. But if you're in category 2 where you've limited your losses, well, why was I having to limit my losses? What did I do wrong in the race day, in the execution? And identify them and delve deep into it. And we've got examples of guys aiming for a 5:40, getting 5:42, and that looks like you've done exactly what we asked. But you go into the session and you find that their first section in the tailwind was 50 watts higher than it should have been, and the last section was 30 watts lower. Well, they got the right time outcome, but they didn't get the execution right, which meant they ran horribly. So on the surface of it, it looks like you've achieved the goal, but that's what we're talking about. Detailed review, not just skimming the surface. Oh yeah, I achieved the time I wanted on the swim, bike and run, so that's my review done. Well, as we've said, it's not about the time, it's about the execution, and the execution determines the time. So this review process is something that people shy away from because they really don't want to know. Especially if you're in category 3 where you're just trying to finish. And that is more reason to be self-critical. And you're only doing it to yourself. You're trying to look for areas that you perform poorly in so that you don't make that mistake again. That's what the review is about.
Yeah, and you made the point at the start is it's not just what you did poorly, it's what you did well, and make sure you're acknowledging the things you did well and what you really executed well in the race as well as the mistakes you made.